All right, hello. I'm all the way over here. And I'm going to come all the way around this way. I'm almost done. It's been a couple of days. Welcome to the new week, but it's already Thursday. So it's going to probably be a shorter video unless for some reason a bunch of stuff pops up during today. It's already the afternoon. Courtney's off doing some farrier work. She gave me this day off. I have to work tomorrow morning though, so what are you gonna do? When she's just doing trims, I don't have to help her because there's nothing I can do. It's only when she's making shoes that I help her out. So I've actually just learned how to pull shoes off of a horse. She's taught me how to do that, and so I help her out a little bit more now so we can actually get some more done during the day. I can actually pull shoes off of the next horse that we're going to work on, so they're already ready to go for their trim and reset of shoes. So if you see me squatting while I'm working, it's because I'm trying to make these muscles better, because it hurts, because I have to it's really weird because you have the horse's leg and you have to put it between your legs underneath here, and then you have to hold it with your legs, and then you got to work on it. And then which I thought was fine because I could squat and I could do this, which is fine, but I have to do, this leg has to come in on an angle, or this leg, depending on what side of the horse I'm standing on. I don't know why I'm telling you all this, but I thought it was interesting. So pulling the front shoes off of a horse, as long as the horse is a little bit larger, it was fairly easy for me. But then I learned how to pull the hind shoes off of Courtney's horse, Giggles, which is a very small horse, actually considered a pony, right? Because she's smaller. And so I got there, and then I put this leg, and her foot is so small, I had to really squeeze my legs together, and I almost fell over. And that would have been really bad because I had the shoe almost kind of off, and we don't want to let them put their foot down while the shoe's halfway off, or else they might step on it and hurt themselves, that kind of thing. And so I was like, whew, and I was like, oh, I could do that. Did not. There are some muscles that she has that I didn't even know I didn't have. So, so if you see me practicing squatting a little bit, it's just because these guys need to be a little bit better for for the larger days, so I can help her out. Once I'm a little bit more confident, I'll start pulling shoes off of horses, even with their owners there, because people are very particular about their horses for very good reason, and they're very worried, and me being very inexperienced, and me trying to do something, not good. So I'll do it with our horses and our friends' horses for the first little while, and until I get pretty good at it, and then I'll be better, I guess. I'll never learn how to actually do a trim or put shoes on, just because that's what she went to school for. There's a technique there and that kind of stuff. I don't have the schooling for it. I don't care to learn that stuff, and I don't think she cares for me to learn that either. We both have different ideas of what we should be doing. So, and then the next thing to learn to help her out is, after all the shoes are on and the nails are in, I can do the clinching, which is bending the nails at the top kind of over and smoothing them out, and then making the hoof look good after. That's fairly straightforward and simple on every horse, but she's fancy, and a lot of other farriers don't do what she does, so she wants to show me her way, and this is going to lead to arguments, I know, because I'm not going to be as fancy, and she's going to be like, you have to do it my way, and I'll be like, I know, but anyway, so here we go. I had to go out and get 2 more cans of glitter paint, and I almost finished the second one. So that's 3 full cans. Unfortunately, one of the cans of glitter paint that I had, oh, sorry, here, I'll show you. There it is. I don't know where the thing is. There it is. So there's still a bunch in here. This is Courtney's really old one, This is the same glitter paint, but it's got the old style top to it, whereas the new cans have this nozzle, which is way better. But this nozzle is just doesn't I tried to fix it, doesn't want to work, and so that's just, I don't know another way of fixing that, so that's going to be gone. So I had to go get 2 more. So it was about 3.5 cans. I mean, we still have a bit left in here, but I got to finish off the extra pieces for the standards. So now you can see here we got the glitter on the white paper. I decided to just, instead of putting a whole bunch of tape on and just being a lot careful, I just covered the spots I wanted to stay black in white paper. And so I'll pull that off. I just finished spraying this, and then I had lunch, and then I came down and I threw the camera on. So this is still wet, and I gotta make sure that I let it dry very, very well before I take that paper off. And then all that's left is the top coat for those guys. And then for these guys, here, I'll bring the standards over. They came out pretty well. But every time I touch them, I leave like little dusty fingerprints. But I keep wiping off. Sorry, there's my paint trays down here still for my touch-up black paint later. So they came out pretty well, but yeah, I keep leaving dusty fingerprints, which I think is just going to happen because of the type of paint. I just used flat black or matte black or whatever you want to call it. Satin, flat, matte. It's all the same in my opinion. I know there's slight differences, but not in my freaking shop there isn't. So these are pretty much fully dry. I just got to get the pieces to finish drying. I can show you how the caps came out, because they're fairly close to being dry. And I think they came out really cool. Right, there is some black parts left to it, but that's just kind of the nature, unless I want to keep putting coats of sparkle paint on this. I think not. But if I was getting paid to do this, I would probably quote them a price that was like all the spray paint. Because the spray paint is the most expensive part of this whole thing. Because I used the black paint on there, I barely used anything to get these poles done and this done. I have this little tray. I don't know. I think I filled it three times in order to get all of these done. So that's working out pretty well. Drilling the holes posed another issue. So, excuse me, I don't know why my throat's all gooey, but if you look here, I think you can see it. So some of the holes I had to make a little bit longer because they went in weirdly sideways. And so the hole that I came out of at the back was off center. And so I couldn't get the cup in both ways. And so I had to widen the holes. I think on this one back here, I had to widen the holes quite a bit on a couple of them. Yeah, just on the back side here. So a little bit more oval than circle. I like the size of the drill bit I'm using. And then I was like, why can't I get it straight? So on the second one, I pulled this guy out, and I used him, and he was okay. I don't know why he's all sticky now though, but either way, this guy was all right. I don't think I'm going to use it very much in the future. I think we're going to just get a drill press. But even if I had a drill press, I would have had to taken those all apart, which probably wouldn't be a bad idea since I had to redo the bottoms anyway. But I would have had to take them all apart, then run them through the drill press, which I wouldn't, even if I had a drill press, I don't know where I'd have it in here. And could I put a 5-foot 4x4 through it to get all the drill holes done. It's something for the future if I do more of these, because I assume if I ever do more of those, they're going to have more holes. These are just for the first 2 practice jumps, and so there's only 6 holes in each standard, and that's enough for practice jumps. But if I ever want to make like some really fancy high-end jumps, I need to make sure that there's enough holes in there for people to go up in 5 centimeter increments. And starting at, I think it's really weird. I think I explained this in another video, but like Hunter started 18 inches and then 2 foot and then 3 foot, but all of other jumping is in metric. And so I have to like match it, right? And so I would have to start, I don't know what the smallest is cross rails and trot poles, but I don't really care about that. But 18 inches is in between, it's like 45.5 centimeters. Now it's almost exact, it's closer to 46. It's really hard. So anyway, I would probably start at 40, I guess, and then work my way up all the way to the top of the pole to get to I think it's a meter 60 is like really, really high end. Meter 50 is most of what we watch when we're at Spruce Meadows, the high end jumping. But there's meter 60 classes there too. But meter 40, meter 50, those are the ones you see most of the time. This weekend went really well. This past weekend, it rained for like 3 days over this last week. It's still been raining. There's a lot of flies in here because it rained and then sunshine and then rain and then sunshine. And now it's just sunny out. And so all the flies are coming out. And so I'm going to try to maybe get a bug zapper or something in here just to keep the flies down. But Courtney's weekend went really well. There was a couple issues here and there, like the Friday we got there. It was rainy and dreary and dingy, but there was nothing going on. Like we were just getting there and setting up. And then Saturday she was supposed to do the dressage test and then the stadium jumping, and then Sunday was all of the cross country jumping for the whole event. But with the rain, what they had done is because the high level dressage is done in an outdoor arena, but they couldn't do that. So they moved all of the dressage to Saturday. Saturday morning they decided this, so a lot of people, they were still doing dressage till like 8 p.m. and they started at like 8 a.m. So there was a lot of hustle and bustle about, and it was pouring rain all day. It was windy and pouring and cold, and everybody was miserable. Courtney still went through, and we walked up to the arena in the rain. I got a couple pictures of her up there, and then she made a nice little 30-second or 40-second video that I'll show you here in a second. And it's just an Instagram video, so I'll put some music over it because I don't think I can play the music she used. But she did well. And then Sunday, they moved all of the jumping to Sunday. So she had to do her stadium jumping and then stay on the horse because less than 30 minutes later, she was warming up and ready to go on the cross country. And she did really, really well. After the first day, she was in 8th place out of 8 people. And then she came in 2nd overall for her first time ever doing a 3-event weekend. She'd never done dressage before. Stadium jumping she's good at. She's never done cross country before, so she did really, really well. So I'll show you that video here. I don't know why I went like this. But yeah, so that was awesome. And I can't wait till she does some more of that kind of stuff. However, back to what we're talking about here, is she'd like me to make her some cross-country jumps. If you saw in those videos, they are very rigid. They don't move. The poles don't come down. There's no poles. You know what I mean? They're just solid jumps. So if you hit those jumps, you're both falling over. So it's not like this where they're forgiving. So she'd like in the future for me to make her some cross-country jumps. I don't know where I'd put them if I did make them, and they're huge. But they're a little bit more straightforward in like colors. Most of them are just logs, just strewn about in different fashions. So what we're going to do is we're going to wait for this to dry. Then we're going to get the top coat on, and I'll get all of the pieces put on these guys. And then so the next time that we come back, I'll probably hopefully have both jumps on the cart, and then I'm ready to take them out. And then I got to clean this place up, because as you can see, I bought some poly and I put it up, and then I put it down, and it's all the way down to here. I know you can't see that, but if you look on the floor, it just sparkles everywhere, which I'm glad that I had the poly for. But almost like there's a lot of stuff in the shop right now that have a thin black paint dust all over it, especially over in the corner over by that forge. So I have to clean up that. Like if you see here, look, I don't know if you'll be able to see it well on camera, but if you can see my footprints there, so it's not stuck to the ground, so it should be like cleanable. But yeah, I can just sweep it up, which is good. But now I have to figure out how I'm gonna clean off everything. And I don't have a good vacuum attachment for this. And so I might just blow it all off in this fashion. Like I'm going to clean everything out. I'm going to get rid of the jumps. I'm going to I'll probably even move the bench out, all that kind of stuff, clean this up, and then we'll clean the floor. And then tomorrow, when we go to work, I'll be getting those items for the memorial frame. And Courtney wants me to make her a ribbon holder for her cross-country ribbon. And she wants a specific stain type that I don't have, so I have to go buy another can of stain. I'll just buy a small one because she wants it espresso, really dark espresso, so it matches all the rest of her furniture. So I will go pick up a small can of that, and then we'll start working on that. So I'm hoping to do a catch-up after this. If not, then this will be the shortest little video of all time. But yeah, no, I'm hoping that tomorrow afternoon I'm going to come in here, get this all finished off, touched up. I'm going to get the coat on tonight, I think. I'm only going to let it dry for about 8 hours. And then I'm going to come and take all the tape off and then get the top coat on. So there's that. And this time I put tape on the sawhorses. So now there isn't spray paint all over the sawhorses getting all over the other aspects of the thing. So I'm going to take that tape off. Then I'll do the top coat because the top coat's clear, so it's fine. And I'll get those on. I'll do the top coat there. I think I'm going to do these first while these dry because that stuff's almost dry. And then I can top coat these, put them off to the side, and let them dry. But anyway, hopefully I'm in the main process of cleaning this place up and then getting back to working on some regular stuff. If this goes well and people want me to do more jumps, then I'm gonna have to figure out a way to do jumps in here and not make a disaster. So if you have any thoughts or tips, let me know. But we'll be back with hopefully a cleaner garage. Okay. Would you look at that? there's enough room to put the table back, or the workbench back. Still dirty. I did some cleaning. I ripped the poly off the wall. I left all the little pieces and staples up there just to remind me to take them down. It didn't work the way I wanted it to. I was going to have a piece of poly that I could roll out and then roll back and then roll out. But that stuff was really thin, and so it tore in a lot of places. So I think I'm going to maybe, if I do another jump sooner than later, I'll invest in some thicker stuff and maybe 2 shorter rolls so then I can actually get them up there. And then they can just live up there, and then I can pull them across the shop, do my painting, sanding, whatever it is that I'm doing, and go from there. And then so if I am working on this side of the shop with something, I can have just one roll out while things like get painted and dried over here. So that's really good. The other jump is fully done and on the cart. I'm going to take it off the cart and build it and show you guys the finished product here. But there's some things we have to take care of first, and I only have 2 or 3 hours to take care of it. So first things first is these cups that we got have these strings on them so we don't lose the stuff. So I'm just going to reattach the string and then tie it, and I'm probably just going to super glue the knot so that doesn't come back out. And then we have another little issue, is that I went to go get more cups, and they're not the same, and these aren't necessarily the same, those pins. But the bigger thing is that I grabbed 6 more cups. See here? But these cups are really dirty, which is not my concern at the moment. But they're also not the same cup, not the same size of cup at all. So my measurements for said holes are going to be off. Now that's not a big deal. I mean, it shouldn't be off by that much actually. Because remember, the bottom of the actual cup is what we're looking for, but we measured from the middle of these 2 holes. All of these cups only have the 1 hole. So if I would have grabbed one of these cups, it would have been more fortuitous for me to measure off of one of these cups. But these are the ones that Courtney grabbed and gave to me. I have a feeling she just grabbed the top 2, and they just happen to be the only 2 like that. In the bag of cups, there is 2 more of these particular ones, but one of them is white and one of them is black. So what are you going to do? So speaking of jump cups, this is only enough cups to fully set up one of the jumps. We don't have enough cups to set up both of the jumps fully. We have enough to do half of each of one, which is probably what they'll do anyway for cross rails and whatnot. Cross rails only needs 2 pulls. So 8 of these would be just fine for both jumps. But if they ever want to set up all 8 pulls on on the 2 jumps, then they're going to need 8 more of these cups. So I'm either going to figure out how to get some cheap ones or figure out how to make a couple. I mean, obviously I wouldn't make them out of plastic because I don't mold plastic in here. But they could have metal ones, which I think are just dangerous. Because if they get rattled out and the horse steps on them, that's a disaster waiting to happen. These will break if a horse steps on them. The metal ones will just bend and stab into the horses. So that's why I want that keyhole track we talked about for all of the future jumps. But again, that's expensive, and I'm looking into alternatives, the 3D printing alternatives for that. That's only if people start asking me to do jumps for them will I start looking more heavily into doing that. So we need to fix these up a little bit. We don't have to, but I kind of want to. I don't think I have string, so I might have to do this later. Actually, I just realized I only have this twine here that I was using to make those fire bales from the pallet wood, which I have to spend some time here in the next week or so and break down a bunch more pallets. But I have this twine. I just don't know if I trust it enough to go there. So I might have to go and buy some actual string to do that. We can do it with the twine and then set up a jump. We can set up the jump without this being fixed for now. But let's brush some of these cups off. And I just cleaned the floor and everything, but what are you going to do? So we're going to just brush these up and maybe see if we can get that jump set up. And then we'll just, I'm just going to redo most of these, which means I'm going to have to repaint them. Speaking of paint, though, I realized that I like spray paint a lot. I like using it for the main part is that there's not a lot of setup involved in getting something spray painted, and there's not a lot of like cleanup involved in spray painting stuff. This one's all rusted to crap. Sand that down, probably. But yeah, not as much cleanup involved. But there is one big problem with using spray paint, and that's the cans. If you look here, just from doing those two jumps, this is my bag of empty cans. I didn't count them, but there's probably at least 12 in here. And that's crazy. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. And I think I could have done better. And that's with using roll-on paint for most of the pink jump. The only spray paint that went on the pink jump was the initial primer coat, which was just for the whole jump. I think I used one of these cans. But for the sparkles, I used 3 of these cans. And the sparkles, there's not a lot of sparkles on there. I could have done more. I kind of wish I would have done a second coat of sparkles. But I didn't want to go and spend another $50 on these cans because it would have taken probably 2 more at least to do a second coat. So we got to first of all, I have to figure out how to dispose of those things, which I will Google and figure out where my local place to dispose of them is so I can go drop them off. But I think when I originally Googled it, the one that's closest to me charges you to take the half-empty ones. So I have 2 half-empty ones that the nozzles are broken on, and I'd like to get rid of those too. And so I got to figure out first if they'll take them in the first place, which they probably will, and then they will be how much the charge is for them to take the half-empty ones. Because apparently, if they're empty, like that bag, it's not considered hazardous. Whereas if they're full, this one was way dirtier than all the other ones. I just vacuumed. Should have done this over the garbage. I don't want to get my poles all dirty right away. Anyway, so yeah, I got to figure that out because I'm getting quite the collection of empty spray cans and I don't like it. And so, come to the future, I'm wondering if investing in a paint sprayer might be cheaper in the long run. And just the cleanup, though, the cleanup of using traditional paint in a paint sprayer will probably vastly more than the spray paint cans. And I know that using that much spray paint isn't good. Like, it's just not good. It's not good for my health, and it's not good for like the environment and stuff. So I don't know. I'll figure something out. For now, we'll continue to use whatever, because we have a lot of spray paint to get through before we can consider us done with spray paint. I don't think we'll be ever just done with spray paint. It's just so convenient and so easy. And some of the stuff, like Potter's paint, it's perfect color. It's just a perfect color. So that will probably be something that I continue to buy. And then, yeah, I don't know. So we'll figure that out. And then we're going to, I'm really not good at tying knots. So let's see what we can do here. Let's see here. How long are these? So we need to cut 5 of them. We'll try this stuff because this will be good for now. And we'll just, it's too early for those scissors to not be working. So we'll just cut these. And I'll cut these, I'll get these tied on. We'll use some super glue, get that done. And then we'll set up the jump, show you what it looks like fully done. I'm not going to pull the whole cart over because I have the standards kind of jammed up. The cart's over against the doors back there. And the standards on the one jump are behind the TV, but the rest of the jump is before the TV. So it's like right under the TV, which is fine. But it's going to make it really hard to move. I have it set up in a way that when I'm ready to just pull it out of the garage or out of the shop, it will just go. And so if I move it over here now, then I'm going to have to like wiggle it out to get it out too, because I have to go out the one door, not the other. So just because there's a horse trailer right there. So it's very specific on the way I have to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have to get it out. So anyway, I'll finish this up, and then we'll move this guy. We'll get the jump set up, and then we'll talk about a couple of things. No, we won't. We're going to talk about them now. Actually, you know what? We're going to just talk about them now. Let me get the super glue. We could talk about that. The super glue I accidentally left open, so I had to. Well, I still have to do some more. Just a quick little trick that I'm using is if I accidentally have like a goop at the top, just take some sandpaper and I just sand it down, and then I reopen the top with the knife. It seems to have been working really, really well, and it's not like shaving down the top like I thought it would. There we go. Had to listen for the air to come out. Good, good, good. I don't want to. This is the super glue is really, really. I like it a lot. This LePage Quick Liquid Pro super glue. It works really well, and it does what I want it to do. But it's like $8 to $10 a little bottle, I think, or something like that. It's pretty crazy. So I don't want to. There's still a good amount in there, enough to do this and a couple ribbon holders. So I don't want to waste it. Anyway, so one of the things we'll talk about is our poor little drill buddy. He might go now, but he pretty much gave up on life. He gave up on life on us, which I expected to happen. We put him through the paces. I was really happy with this guy. He came in the kit with all of the other tools, and this is the one we dogged. I should put it back. The orbital sander is still going strong, even though it's probably the next most used one that we have, if not the most used one we have. But we use this guy to rotate the poles on sandpaper to sand them faster. And I was sad to see him go. So we're going to keep him around. But yeah, he doesn't work. Like, you can hear, too bad he doesn't spin anymore because you can hear the crunching. But yeah, it's pretty gnarly. There's pieces that shattered apart inside. And we just blew up the motor on that guy, which is sad, but we'll remember him forever and always. So for the time being, let's put them up here. Not for the time being. So remember when I said that I bought the cheapest tools possible that had a decent reliability to them. We said I was upgrading to Milwaukee, but I realized that I didn't want to have two different battery systems just yet. Maybe when it's time to replace multiple tools at the same time kind of thing, or if a set like this for the Milwaukee tools goes on a crazy good sale, then maybe we'll switch entirely and then have a backup set. But I got to start making money before I can spend that much money. This guy is a brushless version of that last guy. Let me just get it out here. I assume that this is the battery. Yep. So I got to the store. I had to grab. Courtney wants me to make her a ribbon holder for her first cross country ribbon we talked about. So we're going to do that next week in the next video, and I'm going to try to anyway. And the memorial frame we're going to get started on. She still hasn't got me all of the pieces, but I have dimensions now of certain products. So I got to order a couple of things and then figure that out. But anyway, so I got this this stain here. It's called Min Wax since 1904. It's an oil, stain and poly in one step, poly shades, durable color for bare and stained wood. So I think this is going to do what I want it to do if I treat the wood properly. But we'll see. This is classic black. So remember I said that Courtney wants it to match all of her this is the darkest stain I could find. And I think if I do it over just the bare wood, it will show enough of the grain through that it's not just black, because then I might as well have just painted it black. So we're going to try this. I bought this little tiny can, which is still fairly expensive. For this is $15, but this will do a couple of things for Courtney. I won't use all of this on one thing. So we got that. And then I'm going to make more jumpy stuff, and I'm probably going to just do it off camera. It's literally just 3 2x4s and a 2x6, and it's going to be really small. I'll probably show it to you when I'm done, but I haven't picked up the 2x4s yet. I just need one 2x4 to make this. So I picked up a 4.25 inch hole saw because I was going to just buy a 4-inch hole saw because the cups on there are 4 inches, but then I remember I sanded them aggressively to make them larger and wider and to hold more. So I figure if I just start wider, then there's a lot less sanding and material we have to pull off with doing the sanding. And then I realized I woke up because I thought of this. I was in bed. I'm like, why didn't I just use a hole saw to do that instead of the reciprocating saw? And so we could just punch a hole in there, and then just use the reciprocating saw to just draw lines to the hole that we create. I think that will be way easier. And if you remember, when we used the hole saw to do the flower boxes, that drill went through its paces. It did not like it. So hopefully this new one is about the same power load, I guess. Yeah. Oh, this comes with 2 batteries. Oh my God, I got so many batteries now. Okay, so let's talk about this. I got another charger, which is great. And then we got this guy. We don't need all this. I got another bag. Oh, nice. We'll put the bag up here with the other bags. It's down there, but whatever. And then this goes in the instruction booklet box. Anywho, yeah. So this guy is about the same size. It's got a little bit of, it's It's a little different. It's a little different. So we'll take these batteries. We're going to take these batteries out later, and I'm going to go throw them on the charger when I leave here. I don't know if I care much about this belt clip for this thing. This we'll save for later. I still have to clean up this side of the shop. This side's almost done, and then I still have to do that. So the hole saw can go. But if we look at them together, this one's smaller actually, but it has more power in it, and it has a brushless motor, so it probably won't. It probably won't give out on us anywhere near as fast as this guy. This guy really, like, I use this in a way that you probably shouldn't just use a cordless drill. I think in the future, if we're going to do poles, I'm going to get a corded drill, like an old school corded drill with lots of power. And yeah. All right, so the light on this one is down here. And the light on this one is just under the chuck here. So that's pretty interesting. And then the trigger's in the way of rotating this thing. Like this one was way easier, but the trigger housing is just in the way. But it's not like I'll be rotating that a lot. So I like it. It's good. It's our new guy. Let's put our countersink drill bit into it. And then we can hang him up. He's a little bit skinnier than the other. He's a little bit taller too. So I'm wondering if my placement of his hook is going to be correct. But yeah, pretty. Oh, he's not taller. Anyway, new drill, brushless. We're going to see how this guy goes. And then if this craps out before any other tool, then we know it's time to get better drills than Craftsman. But I mean, I was, like I said, I was thoroughly impressed with the amount of crap I put this guy through. He wasn't designed for, and this guy is right there. He looks pretty. He's a little bit less of a look. He looks newer than everybody else. Everybody's going to be jealous, but he's there now. So, with that said, we're gonna finish up these cups. I'm gonna glue them together, and then we'll get the jump set up. So let's see. I'm not good at tying stuff together. This one already is tied, so let's put some super glue on them. Just a dab. I'll do it on both sides. I don't think anybody's going to want to undo these knots. They'll just cut them off if they have to. So that's one jump cup down. Oops, probably don't want to do that. We'll use the other one like this one. All right. Now we're going to have to just adjust as we see it, but we're going to start with the two jump cups that we actually measured off of. to be the two top guys. Beautiful, beautiful. And then there's 6 holes and 4 pulls. So we'll do the bottom one. Opposite side. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. It doesn't fit. This is, okay, this is one of the holes I didn't fix. Uh-oh, I didn't fix this hole. I'll leave it there for now. But, oops, might have to re-drill a hole in that one. Let's make sure that this one works. All right, so it's not the cup, it's me. I'm thinking I could have just done 3 pulls per, because we're missing a. There's no way that a pull sits in there, right? We'll see. I think there should be more holes just because it doesn't seem to be great to try to fit a pole one right after the other. I don't think they're meant to. But we can try here. All right. I feel like I have to grab it by the sparkles, which is not great, but I did put a coat over it. So if we do this, and we need some more space. They're going to kick the crap out of these anyway. I might as well get it started. So can I? Yeah, it kind of works. I don't know. It's kind of silly. Kind of silly. So I'm already dinging them up a little bit here. Going in and out of the, that's still drying. All right, that's just dust. All right, so that's that. Seems about right. I mean, it seems like that one's lower, but I don't. I feel like we can do something like. No, that comes down quite a bit more, hey? Well, now we know that just because they'll only use the certain heights, if I'm going to make 4 pulls per jump, which I don't know. I don't think 4 is necessary. I think 3 is necessary. I think 4 is necessary if we're jumping 1.50 meters, right? But I could do lower holes for sure. I think instead of like we can do one more higher and one more lower. I think that works out just fine. There's already some dings and whatnot. You can see you have to. I know it seems like they're painted uneven, but it's because of the cups. And I wish I could show it to you a little bit more dead on, but that's the Giggles jump. I like it. I think it's great. I think only using 3 poles at a time though, which means we could have, if we would have only done 3 poles per jump, or even 2 poles per jump, we would have been done so much sooner. It was the poles that took so much longer to create, obviously. I would much rather redo standards all day than paint poles, because like sanding and painting these poles was just terrible. And so I'm going to try to figure out a better way to do it. I think it came out really nice. I really like the caps. I'm glad we bought the caps. And then the 1-inch boards on the bottom. These ones are actually worse than the Potter ones, even though the Potter ones are just scrap pieces. I cut these 1-inch guys at the bottom. I cut them specifically for this jump, and I sanded them and everything, and it just did not go well putting them on. There's gaps and that kind of stuff. But they're glued and nailed on, so we'll go. And then I'm gonna hide these in. They're gonna stay in the shop until Monday evening, when Courtney and Rose and Shannon are all there having their next lesson. Shannon's the trainer, Rose is Courtney's friend, and Courtney are all getting Shannon and Courtney are getting their lessons. And I think on Audrey, some Audrey lady as well. And I'm going to go there on Potter as well, and she's going to give me some pointers and tips on how to just ride my horse beginner level, so we can actually go trail riding, because the whole reason we got Potter is so me and Courtney could go trail riding this year, and we haven't done it once yet. So, and that's because I still don't know how to ride my horse very well. But anyway, that's it. Unfortunately, this week was literally just finishing up this jump and getting it ready, and then figuring out where our mistakes were, which I'm glad we did. There's not enough holes to put all 4 of the jumps on, all 4 of the poles on. So I don't know if I'll drill a 4th hole before I give it to them. I don't think I will. I don't think I have the time this weekend to even look at doing that. It's just I'm going to have to repaint and there's all that kind of stuff. If I drill a hole, like I have to fix that hole. So I might just want to do it anyway. You bust out the new drill and put 1 more hole at the bottom and 1 more hole at the top. And we might want to do that for both jumps then, because that one's not looking too, it's probably going to be exactly the same as this. Pink sparkles everywhere. There are still pink sparkles. I can just see them all over the floor. I swept and vacuumed. Pro tip, sweeping up sparkles is easier than vacuuming up sparkles, apparently. There's not a lot of wobble to this. I thought there was going to be a lot more wobble. There is wobble. It's going to happen. But it's not as much as I thought. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, and I'm going to put this away and finish cleaning up in here, and then I'm going to go have dinner. So thanks for watching this week, and we'll be back next week, hopefully with some smaller projects that scratch that creative itch. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.